This is what you can do about taking control of your own health. A podcast for people interested in learning how to create bodies that are healthy, strong, fit, and disease resistant. And also, I just add this in here. If you're somebody who knows and recognizes that your doctor isn't the one who's responsible for your health, this is your podcast. Okay? I'm Sean McClendon. I am a certified personal trainer. I'm the host, obviously, of this podcast. I'm an author and a health and fitness enthusiast. Thank you for joining me. So in this episode of the podcast, my featured book for this episode is my book called What You Can Do About Belly Fat. Almost everyone at some point has wondered how in the world to get rid of belly fat. And for most people, no matter what they do, they can't seem to get rid of it. So if that's you, check out my book called What You Can Do About Belly Fat. In it, you will learn how, or why rather, fat accumulates around the midsection. You'll learn the importance of paying attention to a special kind of fat called visceral fat. And you'll receive key exercise, eating, and lifestyle strategies to help your body target belly fat based on my personal training experience, as well as in my experience in, I need to make sure I look at the right camera, as well as in my experience with it, reduce my own body fat to 10%. So if you're ready to take steps to melt belly fat away and keep it away, this is your book. Make sure you go to the description below this video and purchase your copy of What You Can Do About Belly Fat on Amazon.com. All right. The information on this podcast is based on personal research and opinion and is not meant to be a substitute for advice from a doctor or physician. You are advised to consult your doctor or physician before beginning any changes to your lifestyle, making any changes to your lifestyle. All right, so in this episode, I kind of want to talk today about the different type of investments that athletes make into their bodies. Now, it kind of goes without saying that athletes who play at the professional level, collegiate level, are in good shape. Just by virtue of playing their sports, they're in excellent shape. But 9 times out of 10, these athletes, especially the ones who are at the top of their game, whether it be basketball, track, gymnastics, football, soccer, whatever, 9 times out of 10, these people are making other investments in their health aside from just simply playing their sport. And it's crucial to do this because of the fact that if they don't, they increase their risk for injury. They also jeopardize their opportunity to stay at the top of their game, and all that kind of good stuff. So I just picked out like 4 different athletes to kind of highlight in this episode. Now, before you tune out and just say that you're not an athlete, I have a point, because I'm athletic, but I'm not like a professional athlete, obviously. But I have a point for you in particular that I want you to really pay attention to this. This first part is just going to be interesting because it'll help you to kind of see the kind of attention that people play in their physical performance and how deep they go in taking care of their bodies. But stick around because this applies to you. All right. So you may have probably figured already that I was going to talk about LeBron James. So one of the things that a lot of us already have known for years now is that LeBron James, one of the most dominant people to play the game of professional basketball, invests a whole lot into his body in time, effort, and money. You know, it's been known for years that LeBron James spends at least $1 million, somewhere around $1.5 million, essentially on the care of his physical body. And this money goes into paying for massage therapists, paying for home gyms, paying for chefs, paying for other trainers to keep up his body. And think about it. So LeBron James is my age. Like he's literally just he's a few months older than me. LeBron James is going to be turning 39 this year, I want to say. at the end of this year. I can't remember when his birthday is, but I feel like it's toward the end of the year. But I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, just put it in the comments. You may know. But he is pretty old to be playing the game of basketball. Now I know what's his name? Vince Carter retired just 2-3 seasons ago maybe, and he may have touched his 40s. I know that Michael Jordan, when he retired back in the early 2000s, he was in his 40s, early 40s. And with playing at that high of a level, that puts wear and tear on your body. So most people, I think, reach their mid to late 30s, if that, playing basketball. But LeBron has extreme longevity and consider the fact that it's longevity playing at an extremely high level, putting out amazing numbers year after year after year after year. He went into the league in 2003, the same year I went into college. So literally 20 years of playing like at the highest level of the game. Some people consider him the best to play the game. I'm not going to get into that debate. But anyhow, check this out. So 1.5 million a year invested in his body, getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep every night, plus naps throughout the day, usually at least one nap a day. He invests in cryotherapy, which is like ice baths and stuff like that. He puts a whole lot of attention into his flexibility, all of these things, especially cryotherapy and flexibility training is a lot of what helps him to keep from injuring himself. He eats clean most of the time, and aside from what I read, and I'll put my sources in the show notes. Aside from an occasional cookie here and there, chocolate chip cookie, he tends to limit his other treats mostly to the summertime. Okay, and so when you consider that, now we haven't factored in, like I didn't really see a whole lot on the details of his training, but I know it's resistance training. Of course, we mentioned flexibility. There's cardio in there. I know he's known for doing that tonal thing. I'm not endorsing anything, by the way, on any of that type of stuff on here. I just know that tonal is some sort of tech exercise gadget that helps you to go through different type of resistance training and other training. And then, of course, playing basketball in and of itself, training the various skills that he trains, all that type of stuff, he's getting it in. That's why he operates at such a high level. I looked up Simone Biles, one of the most, if not the most decorated gymnasts of all time. And I think Simone Biles is in their mid-20s now. And she's still, usually by that time, I think a lot of gymnasts are actually leaving the sport. It's a very short duration sport in regard to career, but she's like still operating at a very, very high level, like really high level, doing new moves and stuff that a lot of people aren't able to replicate. Apparently, Simone Biles trains for 7 hours a day. And she does not train on one day a week though. I think it's like on Sunday that she takes a break. She stretches before sessions and after sessions to prevent injury. She gets regular massages, takes regular Epsom salt baths, ice massages, wears compression boots, which I'm not really familiar with those. And a lot of times through the week, because of training, she may skip breakfast. But if she does get breakfast, she'll get oatmeal or fruit, apparently. Drinks plenty of water. And I did mention that she rests one day a week. Simone Biles is a beast. Everybody knows her. She is a beast in gymnastics. Okay, so I looked up a little bit. I saw something also on Giannis. I never know how to pronounce his last name, but it's like Antetokounmpo. I don't know, but Giannis, I can't remember, the Greek freak. If you watch basketball, you know who I'm talking about. He's Greek and Nigerian. I think he's in his mid to late 20s. Dominant in the game, one of the best playing basketball right now, professional basketball. He works out at least twice a day. Well, he works out twice a day, at least an hour each time he works out, and that's 4 days of the week. Now that's strength training alone, because one of his goals is to be really strong. He does cardio on other days. I wasn't able to find out how much cardio he does. Like, but on 2 other days during the week, he does cardio, and that might be basketball, of course, sprints, treadmill, high intensity training, and other forms of training. Stationary bicycle. He rests 1 day a week, drinks plenty of water, and he actually limits his carbs, but he doesn't totally eliminate them because he does have need of them for energy production. You got to figure somebody who's exercising at least 2 hours a day, which I'm sure is way more than that, especially if you're talking about during the season because of practice for actual basketball. But his carb needs, his energy needs are high. So to eliminate carbs totally would probably be a really bad idea for an athlete. Okay. So now, and I was trying to find out some more information on the track athlete named Sydney McLaughlin. There's somebody who I was kind of seeing here and there with like USA track meets. She's really dominant in track and field these days. But I was able to find out a whole lot about her, at least not in time to do this podcast. But it's a lot of dominant. Noah Lyles, Sha'Carri. It's a lot of people who are really dominant in track right now who are really like, taking it to the next level. Now, the reason why I decided to talk about them is they put a lot of really intentional attention on the upkeep of their bodies, and for obvious reason, so that they can dominate their sport. Now, for some reason, and maybe it's because we don't play sports at that level, most of the rest of us don't. But what I want you to pay attention to is the fact that you do life in your physical body. You work somewhere, even if it's a job that involves your mind. The thing that you have to understand is you have a physical body that you do it in. You require some level of investment in your health. You may not do 6 hours a day or 7 hours like Simone. You may not do 2 or 3 hours a day. You may not even do an hour a day. But you need to be investing something, because your body is what you do this life in. It's what you do your work in, your career in, and whatnot. And because of the fact that the better your body functions, the better you do whatever it is that you do. The better you're even present for your family or for your friends, or, to do work for the kingdom. Just period. But for the most part, most of us don't put any sort of level of investment into our physical bodies, which is like a travesty, because this is what we do life in. So here's the thing. I mentioned the stuff about athletes, but most of us will count ourselves out because we're not athletes. Because the excuse is I don't have that type of money. I can't do that. But you don't need money to make investments into your health, to make regular investments into your health. Does it cost money to sleep? Mm-mm. Does it cost money to stretch? No. Do you get up in the morning, or do you get stretched before nighttime? That's something that I do almost every night. It doesn't cost me any money. I just need a body to do that. What about getting outside in the sun and getting that vitamin D? You don't have to go buy vitamin D necessarily, especially if you live down here in the South like I do. You get it year round from the sun. Do you do that? Do you manage your stress by unplugging from your device, from your laptop, from your cell phone, from your tablet, getting off of the apps and all that kind of stuff for I would say most of the day? Do you walk? Do you do body weight exercises, squats, wall push-ups? Now I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there, and I hope I don't overwhelm because and cause you to think that you need to be doing all these things immediately. Um, Ultimately, you should be doing most, if not all, of these non-cost things because you need to understand that you need to invest into your health. Do you fast? Are you eating all day long, or do you like actually give your digestive system a chance to assimilate all of the food that you're eating, the healthy food, hopefully that you're eating? So, having like a long time where you're not eating anything at all to give your digestive system a rest. This whole 3 meals a day thing I've talked about in a previous episode. Nah, man. It's a society thing. It's not really what you need. And 6 meals a day for sure, you don't get any sort of rest. And for the most part, so some of these athletes eat several times a day, but when you're exercising for several hours a day, might be a little different. You get to the point where you move so much throughout the day that if you don't fuel, then you'll run your body into the ground. So you have greater nutritional needs. A lot of us eat so many times a day that we're eating as if we were athletes, and we're not. So you actually have less of a need to eat all day long. You see? Now, even though every health investment is not going to cost money, you do need to invest some money into your body. Because as people say, it's pretty common saying these days, you can invest in your money on this side through healthy eating, through gym membership, if that works for you, if that's your cup of tea, or fitness programs and stuff like that, if that's your cup of tea. You can invest in the money on this side, or you can invest in money on the other side. I mean, invest in your body on this side, or you can invest in your body on the other side through medical bills, and various other medical procedures that have to be done once your body is in the process of breaking down. A lot of which don't actually bring your body back to where it needs to be. It's more so like Band-Aids, but I won't get into all that. But yeah, you need to invest in healthy food. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily need to go and do organic and non-GMO. That's always best. But to the very least, you need to be eating mostly non-starchy vegetables in your diet. Not necessarily eating all day long, of course, but eating, a couple of healthy meals a day, not necessarily snacking all day either, drinking plenty of water, that type of stuff. But like invest in good quality fuel to put inside of your body rather than filling your body with stuff that your body really doesn't know what to do. Like these junk foods and things like that, and tons of sugar and energy drinks and all that kind of crud that we just put inside of there and we just kind of like ignore it. That's not health investment. That's a guarantee that whatever it is you do in life, your work, moving around, being around for your family, you're going to do that suboptimally because you're not really fueling yourself right, and you're taking your body for granted until it actually starts to break down. Now, as far as health investment, I'm not necessarily going to be the one advocating for like a whole lot of gadgets and stuff like that. They can be supplemental. They can be helpful. But they're not necessary for the most part. I have a like a Fitbit watch and whatnot that I use sometimes, but I don't really optimally use it because I just don't really get into that stuff a whole lot. Like, what do they call that stuff? Fitness tech, or I don't know. It's cool, and if it helps you, go for it. But I'm not a real big proponent of that stuff. And for sure, I'm not a big proponent of like a weight scale. Weighing yourself it can be an investment that helps you to kind of track your progress, but it can also be something that causes you to fixate too much on like your on your weight, and that can be unhealthy. It can lead you into like doing things for your health that really are detrimental because you're just trying to lose weight by all means possible, and I'm never a proponent of that. All right, so all that said, if the athletes can invest hours a day into their physical health, surely you can work up to investing 30 minutes a day into your health, just into your physical health. Perhaps even working up to an hour a day. Because the thing is, if you have a physical body, you need to be investing into your health. You need to prioritize your health. It needs to matter to you. And I'll say this and let it be. we have a very big like mental health kind of crisis in our society. And one of the things that I've been reading a lot, and I have a couple of books I'm looking at over there now, that kind of address kind of mental health as it pertains to physical health. You have to understand that if you are not investing in your physical health, then that is harming your mental health. If you're not putting the right type of foods in your body, if you're not moving, you have to understand you have biological needs. And you also have to understand that your body is interconnected. So mental health is not just something off to the side. Mental health is something that's a part of your integrated self. Physical health is too. If you're messed up in one area, a lot of times it can be tied to another area. If your physical health is bad, your mental health can be bad as a consequence. If you don't get enough sleep, for example, that is absolutely very harmful to your mental health. So what I'm saying is invest in your physical health. And it doesn't always have to cost something, but it's going to need to cost some time and some effort to the very least. Okay? But please consider this, y'all. You don't have to be Simone Biles to invest time and effort into your health and even money. You don't have to be LeBron. You don't have to be gymnast or any of these other great athletes. But anyway, I hope you hear this, man. I hope you hear this. Because I can say this stuff all I want, and you can even kind of nod your head like, man, I got to do this, man. But like, you need to start taking some action now. You need to start making some investments. And start with investments or an investment that you can do every single day and build from there. Every single day. Consistency is more important than what you do. But it's consistency that makes top athletes who they are. Okay? All right, I'm going to let that be it before I kind of get off on a another tangent. But make sure you get your copy of my book, What You Can Do About Belly Fat. Look in the description for that link. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like and share this episode. And always remember, your doctor is not responsible for your health. You are. God bless you.